Don't let it go. Chasing a dream. What you do, ooh. Don't let it go. Chasing a dream. What you do, ooh, ooh.
Hey, what's up guys, Shane here, how are you all doing? I promised you 5 video techniques and I'm going to show you today how I executed 5 of those in the opening sequence just then. So the first technique is low ground shots. Use them. Get low to the ground, look up at your subject, and it gives that dramatic look. As you can see in my shot here, I've got my dad walking by and I'm looking up at my dad. You can see the trees in the background with the sun shimmering through the leaves, and it just gives a nice finish to the shot. So to help me do this, I've used a gimbal. I have the Zhiyun Crane version 2. Saves breaking your back. You can basically swing this baby round, have it inverted, and then you can just hold it low to the ground rather than you bending down, and then you can do some nice gliding shots. So that leads me on to my second technique, because I can hear some of you guys saying, but Shane, I don't have a gimbal. But no fear, just compromise. You may have already seen over the internet there are different ways of doing this. For example, on the top of my head, I've seen ones with like a belt that's strapped around the camera. I've also seen your camera straps as well. That's used in different ways to hang the camera low. But for example, in the opening sequence, I use something as simple as a carrier bag. Get yourself a nice strong bag, put yourself a hole at the bottom there, big enough for your lens to poke through, and then all you have to do is get some tension on the handles so the bag doesn't sway around, and then you get some nice gliding shots. You may need to use the warp stabilizer a little bit in Premiere Pro, for example, or the editing software you're using. To be honest, I didn't need it as much as I thought I would need it. They actually turned out quite smooth. I'm not saying it's the best tool out there, but it works. So technique number 3 requires nothing other than the camera, and it's the transition effect that we call the camera whip. You hold the camera, focus onto your object, subject, scene, whatever you're filming, and then you whip it back out again. And then the idea is you go to your second scene or object and you whip it back in the same direction again, and then you whip it back out. So then what you do in your editing software, you get the 2 clips, you put them together on the timeline, and then when you whip out away from your subject, you put a nice cut there, and then on your second one where you whip the camera in, you put another cut, butt them together, and then you'll find, because of the speed that you're throwing the camera in and back out, you don't see that cut. So it gives a nice seamless transition. So I whip into my shot, I hold the shot there, but note that I'm not keeping the camera still. I'm still moving the camera really slowly in the same direction. So there's still motion there, and then I whip the camera back out again. And guys, it does give a nice creative finish. I've not used it a lot, I wouldn't use it a lot either, but it's a nice addition to having some of your films. Okay, so the technique number 4 is what I call the barrel roll. Fairly simple. You put your camera into autofocus, you're then going to use the focus ring. You hold it with one hand, you get your other hand, you hold the body, and then you twist the body so you get that nice barrel roll effect. And then what you can do, you can move into your subject as you're twisting and you get a nice finish. Now you can do this in post. You can simply get your video clip and then you can do a rotate. But to do it in post, you've got to scale up, so then you lose some of your quality. Not only that, if you do it manually, like you can see in the opening sequence, so if you look at the opening sequence again now on the log, you can see that I'm doing the barrel roll, but I also, as I step in, I'm also going to the side as well, so it gives this nice flip effect at the same time. So you can get all creative. So yeah, I think that gives a better finish than the simple rotating in the editing software. And finally, technique number 5. Get some of that depth in your videos. So you might have seen in the previous video, the camera photo hacks. So there's one of the techniques I call the spy shot, and it's basically you can frame your shots, having things close up to your lens, and it gives depth of field. So as you can see there, we've got a nice blurred object in front, obviously something more appealing than my hand, and then you have your subject in focus in the background. So here I've got the tree trunk up close to the camera lens, and then as my dad comes from behind the tree, he slides into focus. So I like to have that sense of depth in my videos. I'm always using objects, subjects, whatever I can find to have in front of the camera as I'm like gliding to the side or forward or back. Okay, that's it. That's the 5 video techniques. I've got more techniques to show you guys, Premiere Pro tutorials also. Just to let you know some of our plans. We have planned to go to the Lake District, so as soon as our cinematic film is done, that will be up on a Friday. So next Tuesday my dad will have his video up. I believe it's going to be a more in-depth behind the scenes of what we've just done today. So yeah, I think that's it. Oh, actually, don't forget to like and subscribe and press the bell button so you don't miss our next video. Catch you later, guys.